This is a swing idea that I am looking at on Costco. I am starting on the monthly chart, and this is the 10 SMA. What I do like is that Costco last month opened above the 10 SMA, and then this month, when it came back to test it, it held and then pushed off. I think that is definitely a sign of strength. What I also like is that Costco has broken out of this downtrend that it's been on, in addition to the hold of the 10 SMA. I think that is definitely a positive sign that Costco is reversing, that it's changing direction, and that it definitely has room to move to the upside. Now, Costco has been a little stuck right here, and so I want to just note some areas on the monthly, weekly, daily chart that I would like to see before I have more confirmation to get in on this swing. So I first just kind of want to make a note of this area here. Um, and as I'm looking back, I can kind of see this area has a lot of touches. Like here it was support, here it was resistance, here it was support, here it was support, here it was resistance, here it was resistance, here it was resistance, and close but not quite there here. Costco's right at that level, and that is where it's pulling back. And so I think that a break above 519 is going to be critical, that Costco can break and hold above that level. I'm also kind of eyeing this double top right here from the last couple months that was an area of resistance that Costco needs to hold as well. So I am just going to mark this on my chart, this whole kind of area right here. And because I want to see us hold above it and make it a level of support, I'm just going to mark that there. And I'm also noticing on the monthly that Costco is on an uptrend, and it's making higher lows, higher highs every month. Higher lows, higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high so far. So I want to see it maintain that uptrend. And also, as I'm just kind of looking up for major levels of possible resistance, I see up here that this is definitely strong resistance here. Look how many times it was rejected. So I'm just going to kind of draw this whole little zone out as resistance. So that as Costco moves higher, I know to watch out for resistance between 539 and 543, basically. Okay, I want to also now just move on to the weekly chart. And on the weekly, I am going to just watch some additional areas of support and resistance. So I noticed these wicks that we have right at 518. Now I know this area is kind of already marked for a watch of a turn into support, but I also just want to mark that as well. I don't like a lot of lines on my chart, so for me this is already kind of feeling like a lot, but I just feel like this double top wick rejection is important to make a note of. I want to see Costco be able to break and hold above this level and this level ultimately. I also want to see it continuing to hold that 514, 515 support, like right here. So this whole area needs to hold. And this past week, I was thinking it was going to get that push. It tried to go for it, but and what I do like, I mean, what I can appreciate is that this was resistance here, and somewhat resistance here because we closed below this level. This week we actually closed above, so I like that. We did get the wick, like I said, down here, and we did close below that. So I think this is like the next minor level to conquer, and then this one ultimately to get the continuation going up a little higher. Now I want to move on to the daily. Actually, first, just kind of want to make notes of some price targets, major price targets. This is a swing that I think definitely needs a few weeks to develop. So a nice expiration would be 2 to 3 weeks out. I think price targets could be right here at this 530 level. And then we have another one here at about 533.50. One here at 537, 538, and then 543. Those are the profit targets I would be watching. So moving on to the daily, I just want to kind of refine and look at my support and resistance a little bit more closely. And when I'm charting, I like to turn everything off when I'm moving to different new time frames or a different time frame. I like to take everything off the chart and just look at the chart. And so when I'm looking at the chart right now, this area right here at 511 is definitely support. Can see back here, resistance, resistance, resistance here, and then support here, support here, support here. So 511 definitely needs to hold. And then I see 512.50 also as an area that needs to hold. So what I want to do is just on the daily add a little bit more support. Again, I just don't like to overchart because I just like to keep it clean. But if you're in a swing for a few weeks and you want to give it time to develop, then I think it's nice to give it some room to breathe. Like, for example, if I was just looking at the weekly and then we broke this level and I got out, well, it could still come like right here and hold and go back up. So if I got in a position and I was committed to the trade, and then it went a little bit below my stop loss, only to just reverse and go right back up, like, I would be really frustrated. So if your plan allows you to have this much of a pullback, then I think this is still a possibility for a nice hold right here. You could even take it down a little bit to 510.30, just to hold a 510 overall. 510 is also a psychological level. So I think as long as Costco can hold 510, it can get the push higher. Now, if Costco got the break in the hold right here, this is just what I would do. I'm not saying this is what you should do. This is just what I would do. I would nibble on some contracts right here. I would just nibble on one or two and start a position. I would not go heavy right here at this level. If we got a pullback, then I want to have room to be able to add, right? So if we pull back to 510 and we can hold, then I want to average down. I want to add more contracts so that as Costco moves back up, these contracts that I started up here are not all the way in the negative, having to work twice as hard to recover the loss. So I would just give it a little breathing room. So that's just what I would do. I'm not saying that's what you should do. But I think a hold right here would be important. And then I also want to note that, Costco has been on an uptrend on the daily, not quite as clean as the one that we've seen on the weekly, but overall, these candles are still pretty much holding this trend line. So if we can hold the trend line on any pullback, or even if we break it a little bit and can hold here, I think this is a great trade. I would also want to just add some resistance for the daily. I'm going to turn off the weekly chart support area just so I can have it a little bit cleaner to create some resistance on the daily. So I know 520 coming on down to like 518 has been holding as resistance right here. So this is why for me, it needs to just kind of get out of this area. It really needs to just clear this. So this is another reason why I just probably would not go heavy right here until we can get out and turn that whole 521 into support. So another thing that I thought was really significant on Costco that I wanted to point out, I like to look at what the analysts are doing and what they're saying. And just earlier this week, Costco got a very great buy rating from this firm, Tigris Financial. Their price target increased to 635. What? 22% increase. They are rating this as a buy. So Costco, I think that is very strong. And I know this coming week in particular, we have a lot of data. It can be kind of a tricky week, but this is just what I am looking at. If the overall market is giving us direction and giving us some upside sentiment, I think this is a nice trade to watch. So that's my trade idea for Costco.